I'm Adam El Hagar. I am an actor in primarily film and TV, and I live in London. I'm originally from Birmingham, but I moved there because, that's where the biz is. And I learnt TM in 2018 in London. So I'd heard, various artists were into it, and I'd heard that David Lynch had a foundation. I think I'd been to Latitude Festival. I'd seen he'd had like a pop-up, his foundation had a pop-up there. I knew that actors like Hugh Jackman were into it, and Ellen, I think, and people like that. And I guess I actually started using Headspace like everyone when the app came out, and it worked to a degree for me, the sort of mindfulness stuff, but I was always interested in this other meditation, and I'd seen all these artists and people talk about it, so it's really effective and it's very simple, and I'm all about simple. I don't really want to be sort of approaching meditation with my phone in my hand straight to, do you know what I mean? Relying on a phone. So I just kind of looked it up from there, looked it up on the internet, and then did the introductory course in London and decided to learn. I think at the time I was in one of, as an actor and an artist, you always have sort of ups and downs, and I guess I really wanted to sort of learn how to take the highs with the lows, and sort of be at a bit of a baseline of not always anxious, if I was out of work, or even anxious about the work I was doing or too much work. I wanted to kind of have something I could sort of do just to settle me, whether it was before shooting or before going to an audition or that kind of thing. And yeah, I guess, I think sort of, the meditation has kind of really, really kind of come into the wellness space in the last sort of, 5 years or so. And I guess I just kind of was made more aware of it that way. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of achieve some level of peace of mind, like a mind gym, like going to the gym for your mind, sort of doing a bit of training for the mind. So short term, I actually noticed that I'd sort of gone through this period of stuff in my life sort of not really working, and I was getting frustrated about things, and stuff wasn't really manifesting how I wanted it to. And honestly, when I started meditating, I don't know, things just sort of started happening, work started flowing again, and just things in my personal life were getting a bit better. And I guess what really it was doing is I was just more relaxed, and my energy was focused on better things. And that was the short term. And then long term, it's not something I do every day, but it's something that I come back to where I sort of feel a bit frazzled. If I feel like I've actually during this pandemic year, I have done it pretty much every day. And I think it's been one of the only ways that I've kept sane. And one of my goals was actually to do it more. But I think it's something that I can always come back to anywhere in the world. If I'm stressed about something, I've done it, on holiday. I've done it on a train. I've done it on a plane. It's something that I can just always come back to. I don't need a phone. I don't need a pen and a paper. I literally just need, a watch or just some sort of clock, and I can just sort of settle in. And honestly, I find that the main thing it does is it kind of just like doubles the length of the day. So, and I really notice it. I haven't meditated for a week or something, and then I do it, the next Monday, I do the 2 sessions. I just find that I can just do way more productive. I can fit in the gym. I can, you know, if someone's stressed, I can just carry their weight. I'll do that, don't worry. And I just find it sort of, it just gives you, it slows things down and kind of gives you a kind of bit of a perspective. And yeah. I generally find that most people are into meditation these days now. It's some form. But I think if you talk, you know, specifically TM, I think it's that thing I was saying about you don't have to rely on like an app or a thing or you don't have to keep going back or paying a subscription. You just, you know, you learn it and you've got it for life. And I think it's that thing of like, I think it's about simplicity. You know, it's a very simple technique you can always come back to. And I think with any, you know, with you know, telling anybody to try a technique or that kind of thing, you just have to say, look, you know, this works for me. It might not work for you, but this one in particular is I find to be the most effective and the one I always come back to. Even if, you know, every now and then I try a new app, you know, I tried you know, Sam Harris's Waking Up app. It's different. It's a different thing. I think it's good to try things, but TM is the one I always come back to. You know, I always kind of, because I know it's effective, it works. You know, I've always got it. I can do it anywhere. I don't have to keep subscribing to it every year, every month. And I sort of think that thing, you know, it's like I don't want to rent my headspace. You know, I don't want to rent my brain, relaxation from my brain. I want to know the techniques, and I think TM provides that. I think it's funny, you know, when I said to people I was learning it, you know, I had a few reactions, you know, of like, you know, well, you know, oh, what's that? You know, are you okay? And then I learned it, you know, and I was saying to people, you should really try it. And a lot of people would say, oh, you know, well, I'm not that stressed, or I'm not messed up, or that kind of thing. I was like, well, it's like going to the gym, you know? It's like this is a really great thing you can do for your brain. If you're going to the gym and lifting weights to make your muscles stronger, you might as well, you know, do something for your whole nervous system that, you know, just, you know, who wouldn't want to relax their whole nervous system, you know, every day? And come on, the Beatles did it. And look, the Beatles are great. Look at all the stuff they did, you know? I think, look at Paul McCartney. He's rocking it, however old he is, nearly 80. And he's there, you know, just kind of loving life. It's funny, I just find that whenever I meet someone who does TM as well, it's that thing of like, you know, you do TM too, oh great, you know, and it's like that's the chat. You just go, okay, cool, yeah, that's great. And I find with maybe some other forms of meditation, it's so cerebral, you know, and I'm just not that kind of person. I almost don't want to think that much about my meditation technique or my practice. So, you know, I just want to do it, and it enables you, I feel. Obviously it's good to be in the moment, but I feel like it actually enables you to be more in the moment, as opposed to sort of being in the moment for 10 minutes and then not. You know, I feel like actually what it does is it just naturally enables you to be more present. And I think as well, I find of all the meditation techniques I've tried, TM is the best for my creativity, like 100%. Because I think, and I don't know if it's to do with the sort of the alpha waves or whatever. I did read some research about it, but you know, that's a little too cerebral for me. But I think it puts me in a space of, I think what people like to call flow these days, this flow state, you know. And I get it from playing music. I get it from, you know, acting and being on stage and filming. It does the same thing, actually. It sort of puts you in a deep flow state where I think actually you kind of you come back to who you really are. You sort of enables you to return to. I think I remember my teacher said that you should always, if you've got a difficult decision or something, you should always meditate first and then make the decision. And I think that is really accurate in terms of it. I think it sort of restores you into your kind of alignment of who you are. And I don't really find that with other meditation techniques. I think they're more kind of like grounding in the present moment. But TM, I think, is a bigger picture type.